I head back to South Florida in this Brightline construction update. I start in Jupiter near the drawbridge. I then work my way south through Palm Beach Gardens and Riviera Beach, before finally ending up at the West Palm Beach station. Here at County Line Road in Tequesta, materials and equipment are staged for work heading north through Jonathan Dickinson State Park. This is the staging area for work on the Jupiter drawbridge. The big metal blocks are sections of barge that crews will use when working on the bridge. The red shuttle wagon is also parked here still. Just north of the drawbridge, the second track is being laid near Riverside Drive. Rail has been attached to the ties since my last visit here. And here starts the work on the Jupiter drawbridge. The north end of the work site here is where materials are delivered and is where the construction office for the site is located. South of the office there is a crane and a pile of beams and other materials waiting to be used. Here are some of the pipes used to build the temporary work trestle that crews use to access the bridge. Some of these pipes are full size while others are sections that were cut off after installation to create a level bridge deck. From that pile south is a short access road to the bridge itself. A section of temporary trestle is in the weeds in the distance that was used to get the main crane to the bridge. Here is where all the work is happening. While crews were not working the day I visited, they typically would be working on finishing the temporary trestle and working on rehabilitating the bridge. The earthen structure just below will eventually hold signal equipment. Here's a good look at the temporary work trestle that the crane is on. Its purpose is to support the crane and other equipment out over the water. Work for the time being is focused on rehabilitating the existing bridge, though there are long terms to replace it. South of the bridge, crews are working on building the second track and upgrading the crossings. Panel track is staged here for when the time comes to rebuild the Center Street crossing. New signals have gone up here for a future control point. The other set of signals for that control point is here. A section of new track is laid out here, and fresh ballast has been piled on top of some of it. The Indian Town Road crossing was one of the first to be rebuilt on the entire project. Work on the new track stops just short of the Tony Pena crossing, since that crossing has not been upgraded for double track yet. A ballast regulator and tamper are parked at the end of the tracks on the south side of the crossing. This section of double track has been completed since Frederick Small Road has been upgraded. Here's a look south from the crossing. Here another tamper is parked. Donald Ross Road is not yet upgraded, so the tracks stop just north of the crossing until the crossing can be double tracked and the crossing protection relocated. The same is true on the south side of the crossing. Ballast has been piled on this section of track, but has not been spread yet. This continues on for a couple of miles. At Hood Road, crews were actively working on the crossing signals. This crossing had just finished being upgraded, so they were working on some of the final touches. Here in Palm Beach Gardens, fill has been piled up to be spread along the right-of-way to support the second track. At Kyoto Gardens Drive, footings have been installed for the new crossing protection. Here, a new high-wide defect detector has been installed over the future placement of the double track. New crossing protection is being installed here at RCA Boulevard. The same is true here at Burns Road. South of the crossing, a large swath of the right-of-way has been leveled to make way for the second track. At Lighthouse Drive, new signals have been installed. Here work continues on the double tracking of the Earman River Bridge. Let's take a closer look at the bridge. They are farther along here than at most of the other bridge locations along the Florida East Coast Railway corridor, as the pilings for the second track are being pounded into place. Crews were actively working while I was here. Here's a close-up look at some of the pilings in place on the north bank. You can see more pilings in the water on the south side. The second track is laid up to North Lake Boulevard. Here, signals and bungalows have been installed for the future Lake Park control point and crossover. Here's the lead into Lewis Terminal. The Flagler Strait crossing has received some upgrades so far. Next to the Port of Palm Beach, ties have been laid out for a new track. Ballast is piled up here for work in this area. Some ties are staged here. The 49th Street crossing has also received some upgrades. A third track will be added here at 45th Street. At 25th Street, new crossing protection has been installed. Crews were working on the 23rd Street crossing, so it was closed. And to end, here's a drive along the West Palm Beach station as it sits in hibernation waiting for service to resume. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe.